Well, this is my little tractor shed that I built during the summer. There was no videos on this, of course. I got to get my garden tractor out of there, my lawn tractor I should say, and get the battery out of it for winter. Now I built this out of, well, you know the lumber I built it out of. The 51-cent wood from Home Depot. Of course I had to buy the tarpaulin. I got to get some of this. This is all that wood. This is all pressure treated, except for these two pieces here, because I couldn't wait until more pressure treated wood came in. So I was in a hurry. And there's some of these strips here that I was telling you about that makes kind of like a ramp. When I made for my camcorder for the traveling videos, the driving videos, well, that's those plates there, those mending plates I was telling you about. This is merely tarpaulin all the way through. It's completely covered in tarpaulin. That's my ramp for the snowblower, just leaning against the back there. This is the back of the little shed. So what I'm going to do now is pull this door. That's all it is a friction fit. There's my tractor. It's a Murray 12.5 horsepower garden tractor, a lawn tractor. I keep saying garden tractor. This door is nothing more than tarpaulin on furring strips. And I just painted it green to kind of keep the water out of the wood so it wouldn't swell up too much and make it hard for me to get the door off. Now, you look inside here, there's 4x4s. Well, they were available at 51 cents a piece, pressure treated, so, and the regular 2x4s. And all I did was just make a little peaked roof here, just enough to push the tractor in. It's low because the wood was limited me, the length of wood limited me to how high I could make this, and I really didn't want to make this too high anyways. But anyways, I got to get this tractor out. Before I can do that, if you look down here, you look over here, I got a block underneath the frame. And there's a reason for that. These damn front tires are flat, and they'll come off the rim if I keep the weight on them. So I have to pump up both these front tires because they're tubeless. They do not hold air. They always go flat when I go using this tractor. Unlike the rear tires, I went and had Town Fair Tire put in tubes a few years back. So the rear tires hold air. The front tires always go flat. So I pump up these two front tires. When I get them fully inflated, then that block will slide in by my hand, so I won't have to jack the tractor up at all. Well, I got to get this out to get this battery out of the tractor so that I can put the battery on a trickle charge. Once a month I keep it on a 1 amp trickle charge for overnight, for one night a month. Don't overcharge them. And that battery's about, I had the tractor for about 6 years, and that's the battery, that's the original battery that I bought at Walmart, and it's still going as long as you take care of them. So it's really on borrowed time. But before I do that, I got to pump up these front tires with my air compressor. Well, I don't care for those hoses that come with these things. They're always getting tangled in the cord. But I got that at Walmart a few years ago. It's good enough. Now I can pull the blocks right out. All right. Well, it's nothing but a 12.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton tractor, and I bought it years ago from one of my neighbors who no longer lives here. I keep the cover off of this because every once in a while I have to shoot some WD-40 in there because it spins out. Down here I had some red high temperature silicone I put in there because these bolts that go up underneath the block, well, the whole engine was knocking there a couple of years ago and it was loose. So I had tightened these, they somehow loosened up. But it must have broke the gasket a little bit because it does lose a little oil. After I tightened it up, it didn't knock anymore. So I have to keep an eye on it because so far it's not leaking, but it used to splatter oil on my shoe. Well, anyways, you got to get the battery out of here because if not, it's going to go dead, and I can't charge it when it's in this shed. So I'm going to take out the battery, bring it in the shed, and put it on a trickle charger. Let me give you a look inside the little thing I built here. It's nothing fancy. It's out of scrap lumber. We'll kneel down here so we can get a kid's eye view of this thing. This platform I built years ago, and this is where my tractor was always stored, but I had a tarpaulin over it. So this is all pressure treated, but it's scrap that I got throughout the years. There's even scrap in here to add out to make it a little wider. This is really a Rube Goldberg redneck type of building. But it does the job, and as you can see, I put 2x4s here and even added some fencing. That white picket fence that you've seen me do one of my videos, well, that's the scrap from it. So I utilize that. So I grab any piece of wood I can and just made a little A-frame building. And the reason for these in here is to, you know, when you get a whole load of snow on here, you know, you don't want this thing caving in. It's all tarpaulin, that's all it is, stapled on tight, and it does the job. The way I made the ramp, with not too big of a pitch on it, I'm able to push this tractor in. I mean, it's only a lightweight tractor, but as you can see, I can't, on this type of tractor, put a snowplow on it and plow. I have a snowblower, but sometimes I wish I had a little plow to do the driveway. It'd be a lot easier, but this thing here will not plow, even if I had the correct tires on it. These are what they call lawn tires, and they just wouldn't do it. Plus, it's a belt drive, and it wouldn't have the guts or the weight in order to handle a plow. Well, I'm going to get the battery out. I'm going to pull it out. Now this Murray tag is not a Murray battery. This just came off the tractor, so we got to unhook the other side here. Like all battery terminals, whether it be car, truck, or tractor, always keep a coating of grease on them so they don't get the corrosion off of everything. You know, the battery terminals corrode and everything. So we'll pull this sucker out here and we're going to stick it on the charger. Now, like everything else, I can't find a receipt when I bought this battery. But it's 275 cold cranking amps, and I had a hard time finding one that had that kind of capacity because a lot of them are like 325 or 350. And good little battery. I got it at Walmart years ago. I'm going to say 5 years, maybe 6 years ago. And it could even go back more than that. Anyways, let's get this thing on charge here. We're going to get this battery on charge here. And here's my little 1 amp charger here, 6 and 12 volt. She's on 12 volt. Bring this down. And the positive and the negative. And she's on charge. I will put that up on the shelf after I clean out some of this mess so I can make room for it. Until then, thanks again for watching one of my boring videos.